Black Mamba don't like that.
I know you're gonna dig this.
For our dozens
And dozens.
and dozens of listeners, this is the Great PODBINO, Episode 2, Part 2, talking about the Eastern Conference standings. We're actually just going over, I'm with my two partners in crime here, Christian and Elmiz. Thanks for helping out, guys. And also, over there, producer Mags.
Thanks a lot, Patty.
You looking good, man.
Pat had a long day at the hunt yesterday.
He did have a long day at the hunt. He is on his second beer of the day, and it is 5 o'clock somewhere, my friend. So you're all good. You look great.
He's wearing a free Knicks t-shirt.
Free Knicks
that they
shirt.
gave away at the Garden. I was there.
He's wearing his Giants scarf, despite the fact that it's 75 degrees indoors right now. And what do you think that they said to him when he showed up at 10:30 a.m. asking for a 12-pack?
I think it was kind of like a speechless.
shook their head.
Yeah, like a.
In the best way
In
possible.
between bites of his Egg McMuffin, the owner of this liquor store in the corner just looked disappointingly as this guy who came in with a XL Knicks shirt and mud on his trousers.
Hey, the hunt takes it out of even the best of men.
The street takes it out of the best of men too, but that looks like where he slept. Anyway, moving on. We're going to talk about the top 6 teams in the Eastern Conference, kind of teams that have, at least a fringe shot at the title. Starting with a pretty difficult team to predict, the Chicago Bulls coming in at Mambino's number 6 spot. What do we think, guys?
Bulls. Without Derrick Rose, this is it's going to be one of those.
Here's a
competitive
question.
enough
They
till he
pretty
comes
much are the
back?
same team as last year. They got Kirk Heinrich.
Well, they lost Asik,
They lost
who numbers-wise is
Ashik.
Asik.
They got my boy Nate Robinson.
They got Nate
Yeah,
Robinson. They have
Nate's
Vladimir Radmanovich. They kind of, they really shored up, I'd say, like their last 7 to 10 guys. So they have Radmanovich, Nazir Muhammad apparently.
They lost Ronnie Brewer to the Knicks.
Lost Ronnie Brewer. They have Marco Bellinelli, who's pretty much the opposite of Ronnie Brewer.
Here's a question. Bulls are down by 1, 5 seconds left. Who's shooting the ball?
Nate Robinson.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay. So that screams. 6 seed sounds like great for that.
Yeah.
Well, here's my question. So I think that they, when everybody makes a lot of the fact that, when Rose was out last year, which was pretty much half the season, they still were able to get the best record in the Eastern Conference. Obviously, they're not going to do that this year. Or is it obvious that they're not going to do that this year?
Yes.
They're not going to get the best record in the conference. No way.
Well, then how do you rationalize the fact that they were still amazing without Rose? Was that were they playing so well because they knew Rose was coming back, or was it because this is
no,
a really good
I
team?
think they would have had a good record regardless. I think that's why we have them slotted at what we do at 6th.
But they stayed the best team in the Eastern Conference
Yeah.
when Rose was out. So how do you rationalize? How is this team? How are we not saying this team's going to be a 2
It's going to
seed?
be a longer season. I don't know. I don't see it.
I think it's also. I really do think that it's that they knew Rose was coming back, so they just needed to hold the line.
Yeah,
until they got their captain back, so to speak. And
Yeah.
without him, I just don't know. I don't know what
Well,
they
they know
have.
again he's going to come back. He's
Well, he's going to come back. He
on
he
pace
had
for a March return, I think.
he's on pace for a March return. If you're Rose, or if you're the Bulls, and you have a primary piece, a transformative piece of your offense coming back, essentially at the end of the season, around game 75 or whatever, 70, 75, do you think that? Could it be like kind of like your ace coming back in October for the playoffs if we were in baseball? Is he going to come back and essentially will this team to maybe an Eastern Conference Finals run? Could that happen?
Well, if they finish 6, the three seeds usually kind of like one of those vulnerable contenders that
Right.
they play an upstart 6. It wouldn't be that big of a deal if they lost in the first round. Like imagine if the Knicks or the Pacers or even the Celtics, they get the number 3 seed, and all of a sudden Derrick Rose is coming into your building in game 1. That's.
But would he be able to fit in with this team? I just don't think. I think that if you play 70 games throughout the season without a guy who's such a big part of the offense, and everybody has to kind of tailor their game around his in order to succeed. I don't see how they could integrate him in at such a late time.
And he's such a
when you're as good as Derrick Rose is, though.
This is not baseball where you just plug in a guy and it's
Right.
one-on-one. It's a 5-on-5 game, and I just don't. A lot of people, a lot of people listening to this podcast, a lot of people that read our blog, know that. But I think on the whole, most people don't understand that basketball is not the same as these other sports where if you can't just plug a guy in. I mean, this is not addition. This is calculus.
What will he be? What sort of player will he be?
Exactly.
Because if he's not as explosive as he used to be initially, if he's still the doctors say that even the rehab, once you're back on the court, it's still going to take you a while to get back to where you were pre-injury. So
just psychologically as well too. I mean, he's probably going to be afraid to cut, make a lot of lateral movements, and really depend on that world-class athleticism.
Plus, he'll be rusty. I don't know. I don't think this is a weird Bulls team.
I think 6 seeds is actually a good slot for them.
Yeah,
I think they would be really happy with a 6 seed.
I agree.
They're still going to play great defense.
They're going to play great defense, but I think the main thing that I want to get across is that people shouldn't be waiting for Derrick Rose to come in as a pinch hitter late season replacement and just all of a sudden they're old Bulls again. And it's exactly
Captain
it's
of the Great
team.
Britain,
If the Bulls get in the top 4, I mean, Tibbs, that's another Coach of the Year trophy.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Moving on, number 5 spot, we have the upstart
Nets.
Brooklyn Nets.
The Netsters.
Coming in. What do you think of this team?
Well, New Jersey's, it's a great place to play. Clearly, they decided to
Thanks, Chris Christie. That sounds great.
to leave and
Newark,
go to,
vibrant city, one of the most vibrant cities in the United States.
My
according to Governor Chris
favorite
Christie.
adjective for really bad cities is up and coming.
Yeah.
The up and coming Newark.
I think
Prudential
vibrant
Center.
is actually the buzzword.
That's a good one too.
This team is still practicing in New Jersey. It's going to be a headache for these guys this year. They have to go across Manhattan routinely. The players are living in Jersey and Westchester, Manhattan, and Brooklyn. They're just all over the map. Their practice facility is not where they're playing, and I think they're I was reading there's some other thing that's in Manhattan, either their medical facility or where the players are going to get treatment. So
oh gosh, an NBA player has a headache from being an NBA player.
Right.
So different from our headaches.
Just get pro-corrupted by them jetpacks or something.
Having to get across town to go from practice to the game is going to be a marathon. Driving through the tunnels.
I know that there aren't really any white people on this team, but this is a white person problem for the Brooklyn Nets.
You've really never commuted to Jersey.
I haven't commuted to Jersey.
Waited on the 2-hour tunnel line. It's mad.
No, it is
any
going to
sane
be.
person could lose their cool.
It is going to be a bear. They're
tunnels.
lucky that they have one of the richest men in the world. There's our owner, who probably will have, helicopters at their disposal. Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about basketball rather than getting there.
I think D. Will finally is gonna. This guy's got a lot to prove this year, in my opinion. He essentially mailed his way out of Utah, gets to the Nets, mails it in for basically 2 seasons because he's unhappy with they're like semi-tanking.
Which is great because he mailed it in Jersey, and this offseason he had the audacity to call out some of his former teammates for laughing on the bench during blowouts. I was like, this is the guy who just sat out and helped their team tank.
Had his number retired by Besiktas or however it's pronounced.
Turkey.
So I don't know. I think he has to reassert himself if he really people. It seems like a consensus he's a top 10 player, and the numbers do back it up when he plays. But let's see. Get to the playoffs, man. Get to the second round for a change. You have good talent around you. You've got to mesh with Joe Johnson. Everything is running through the post through my man Brooke, which I'm very excited about.
Tell me more about your love affair with Brooke Lopez.
Brooks had a good,
easily the slowest player in the league.
Only because I had to draft him instead of LaMarcus Aldridge in fantasy 2 years ago. I've been tethered to this cartoon weasel. Cartoon loving weasel, I should say.
Cartoon loving.
Hey, whoa. Comics and cartoons.
Let's not lump in comic books with cartoons here, guys. Pretend that.
Well, which one is it? Which one does he like?
He's a graphic novel lover, which for some of us can be an adult form of entertainment. Not that I'm into comic books because I have a girlfriend and I'm cool and things. But theoretically, if I was into comic books, I'd tell you you're dead effing wrong.
I was just saying that I was using that to modify his being a weasel. Whatever,
Fair enough.
Insert whatever.
All right,
Brooke
sorry.
likes.
No, I'm not insecure about it, so it's cool.
But
So-
Brook, I mean, defensively he's a complete drain, but I think offensively he's pretty good.
He's very good. He's a very good offensive player. I don't have any doubts about this team scoring. They're going to put up 110 points a night. I mean, if Marshawn Brooks can get used to not shooting the rock 14 times a night and more like 7 or 8, I mean,
Andre Blatch looks like he's in shape.
I don't think
Coming
that
off
this
the
is.
bench.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But I don't think this team is all hype. I think that they're good. They look really good.
Yeah.
And if everybody plays, I mean, if Joe Johnson can score 20 points a game and Darren Williams can be a top 10 player, which he could be, this is
Yeah.
going to be a really, really good basketball team. I think they can defend, except for Brook Lopez. I think that they're mostly adequate to plus defenders. And if AO's favorite player, Andre Blatch, can come and give them the type of minutes that he's been giving them in preseason, I think he's dropping like 14 a night in preseason.
Yeah.
Like 14 and
moving
7.
around really well.
Their bench bigs are really nothing to really laugh about. I mean, you got
Pelatovic.
Teletovic, a good pickup. He's got some range actually. I saw him
Yeah.
a couple preseason games. Garden's personal whipping boy Chris Humphreys, and
Yeah, right.
Reggie Evans. I thought was a great pickup for them.
Yeah, Reggie. They got
Problem
some
with
volume
so the
rebounders.
problem with you have Brook Lopez there, who last season broke his foot with a stress fracture, which is kind of it's a huge red flag for any 7-footer who weighs 300 pounds like he does. I mean, if he goes out, this team is depending on Andre Blatch, who doesn't really stay healthy.
Yeah.
Shoots himself in the leg, literally, and has had conditioning problems, even though he's looked good. I mean, I don't know if I can depend on that guy. And Reggie Evans is probably the worst offensive player in the league.
Ooh, that's a
He
Quite
can't
a
score.
statement.
He
Yeah.
shoots 48% from the line, and he took 2 shots a game last year, mostly on putbacks. I mean, I just think if they have any injuries to their front line or to their starters, I think that they're in trouble.
Yeah.
Not-
No, they should be good.
Because I don't know how Andre Blatch, Teletovic, and Marshawn Brooks can I don't know if they can go 82 games. That's what I think about this team.
D-Will got paid like a franchise player. It's time for him to carry them. Make the playoffs.
That's true.
Make the second round.
All right, we're here, guys. At number 4,
The Bockers.
Oh,
New
God.
York Knicks. Go ahead. I'm just
I don't
gonna
even
hang
know.
out for a second.
I don't even know where to begin. I guess, I think the question we start off with is what Miz asked me right before we started this, and is would you rather have this team or a Jeremy Lin led, with Gallinari, Wilson Chandler,
Gallinari, I mean, a Lin-led pre-Mello team.
right,
Mozgov,
with the mustache.
Ray Felton's
on
still
the
here, I
sidelines.
guess.
And I was very adamant that I picked this mellow version of the
Yeah.
team. I just here's the thing: those MDA teams were great to watch. Those wins were really exciting, but that team was going nowhere. Even with Jeremy Lin, Gallinari, Chandler, all those like Al Harrington and
Yeah.
those players, even throw Amari on that team. That team was never going to win a title.
Right.
And
Yeah,
Melo,
Mario
for
was on
all
that
his
team.
faults, and there are many of them. I mean, the potential's there for him to really lead us to Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
And how could you not want that team?
Yeah.
How could you not want that team?
Over a Mike D'Antoni
okay.
coached,
because there's many reasons not to want this.
getting 7 turnovers a game from Jeremy Lin. Just
Linsanity,
yeah.
beating good teams, scoring 30, setting the world aflame.
Oh, okay. All right, we're gonna. But yeah, I mean, let's look at the next roster though. I mean, the biggest question there is Amari Stoudemire, who I guess we've just learned is out for 2 to 3 weeks.
With a ruptured cyst.
cyst in his left knee.
What the hell does that mean?
Someone popped the pimple.
Yeah, somebody popped a pimple on Amar's knee.
Maybe it was that beating he took from Valanciunas.
I honestly think they're better without Amari. I mean, all the guy can do is score. He's so bad defensively. I mean, we mentioned Samardo Samuels in part 1. How many guys had career nights on this guy last year? Boris Diaw was 10 for 12 against him.
J.J.
from the field.
Hickson.
J.J. Hickson. Samardo Samuels was like 9 for 9 at one point. and these are scrubs.
Amir
It's not. This
Johnson,
isn't.
yeah,
It's not like we're
these guys-
saying. It's not like we're saying Kevin Love came in and had 30 points.
Which he did.
Which he did. 30 rebounds, which he did. That you'd expect from those guys. But when Samardo Samuels, a backup on one of the worst teams in the league, comes in and roasts your $20 million a year power forward, it's a huge red flag. He cannot stop it. I don't want, he goes to Houston to work on post moves with Hakeem. Try guarding the post moves, man. I mean, play defense. He's so bad defensively that... And Carmelo is such a good scorer, you really don't need Amari in there because everything goes through. It's like people when Lin left, everyone was saying, well, Lin's so bad defensively. Amari is as bad. I mean, when he's in the game, the offense runs through whoever he's guarding. In the Raptors preseason game the other night, Valanciunas was posting up on him scoring, and it was like, get Valanciunas the ball
easily,
and then we'll run the whole offense off of that and space guys out. He's just not very good, and I think the team is the best. If you had a objective, someone come in and without looking at the contracts and the egos and stuff, said, what's the best starting five for this team? I don't think it includes Amari. He's a bench scorer at this point.
Sadly, I'd have to agree with that.
Yeah.
Who would you start instead of him?
Well, you probably
Novak?
you put Melo at
Novak?
the 4.
Yeah, I would like Novak there. My man Chris Copeland. No, not Copeland.
34-point Chris Copeland?
Yeah, I think. I think the first whoever is there, you take out first.
I mean,
is
are
the
we
first sub
considering
out.
injuries too? Because I mean, obviously Shumpert would be in there. I would actually prefer.
Yeah, you'd have
them to
Shumpert and
go-
Brewer, I think, at the 2-3,
Yeah,
and then you'd
Brewer
put
at the
Melo at
3,
4
Felton
and
at
Chandler
1.
at 5. That's what I would do. Maybe even Kidd. You go Felton and Kidd is the backcourt, and then Brewer at small forward, Melo at power forward, and Chandler at center.
I mean, what do you think? So we talked about these what ifs. I mean, there's Amari's going to start. Let's just be honest. I mean, there's nobody.
If
This
he
is not
stays
a.
healthy,
This
since
is
he's
not
apparently
some
out
kind of
again.
strong organization that's going to look Amari in the eye and say, "No, you're not going to start." They're run by James Dolan. I mean,
Right.
this is just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So that all being said, we know what's going to happen. We know who's going to play. We know who's going to get minutes. We know how Mike Woodson coaches. We saw
This
enough
is-
of it towards the end. What is this team?
This team is whatever Carmelo Anthony makes of this team. I mean, people. This will be in the Mambino preview, but I sent an email out. I remember last year at some point and said Carmelo Anthony isn't one of the 20 best players in the NBA and listed 20 better players. And in his mind, I think he's like me and LeBron are 1A and 1B, and now Kevin Durant as like the 2 or 3 best players in the world. And he's just not. He's not a leader. He doesn't make other players better. He's a volume scorer. At this team is built around his purported strengths, and he's clearly the lead dog. I think it's going to be as good if Carmelo can take them to the Eastern Conference Finals. That's how far they'll go, or they'll get bounced in the first round again.
There's not necessarily it's not all bad for you to think that you're one of the best players in the world.
Right.
It's just the way in how you, I guess, use that. I mean, Carmelo did not want to have anything to do with Mike D'Antoni's offense. And,
Or Lin.
And yeah, he's a jerk.
Yeah.
He's a first class jerk. I think if I had a daughter and she brought home Carmelo Anthony, it'd be immediate murder suicide.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I mean, it's not that bad that he thinks he's one of the best players in the world.
But the Knicks think that too, and I just don't know if reality reflects that. Like, does he make? Are the other players on the Knicks better because of Carmelo Anthony, as the other guys on the Heat are because of LeBron?
That's definitely a no.
You know,
It's definitely a no. I mean,
Do you guys really expect this to work? I know that you do because you're both
yeah.
fools.
well, see, the bar is so low. The bar, I mean, from what we've had to deal with, I mean, we haven't
As
seen...
fans, is the bar low, or as like a real as somewhat objective NBA fans and guys that know a lot? You two know a lot about the league and know a lot about players. And me, as an objective outsider,
You don't think it's gonna work?
Of course, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
This hasn't worked for 2 years. I mean,
Yeah.
It can't work. They're the same player, except Amari can't jump anymore.
Yeah.
And so you're taking out your power forward already. So you're taking out your starting power forward and saying,
But Carmelo's a better 4 than he is.
I agree with you.
3.
But that all being said, I just don't think the other guys on the team are good enough, and I think that the other guys on the team are all such marginally talented players that they need a guy like LeBron, Durant, Kobe, Dwight, et cetera, to make them all better. And Carmelo, I love Carmelo, and I believe that he's capable of being the second best player in the league. But that all being said, he can pass, but he doesn't pass. He can rebound, but he doesn't rebound. He can defend, but he doesn't want to defend. And that's the biggest problem with this guy, is that their ceiling is they can win a title.
Yeah.
If Carmelo decided that he wanted to win a title or wanted to do the things necessary to win a title.
And that's just the point for me. I mean, just have that ceiling. I mean, yeah, objectively, this is going to burst in flames, and I'm going to be sitting in a puddle of my own tears, and other stuff too, probably. That shouldn't be on the record.
On the Podbino. Right. Tommy Duffy, cover your ears.
Right. But, yeah, objectively, it's not looking good. I mean, there's a reason we haven't won a playoff game in over a decade.
Oh, no, you've won one.
Playoff series.
We
won Game 4 last year at home.
Oh, yeah.
Really a miracle.
LeBron
Melo took over.
LeBron decided to not play. But, yeah, I think the fact that there is that ceiling is something we haven't had before. So, I mean, I don't know if... are we going to reach that ceiling? Probably not. But the fact that it's there makes it, worth being a Knicks fan again.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
I think they. I mean, I wane on a more or less minute by minute basis from thinking this team is horrible, that they should have never let Lin go, to thinking like, oh, it's the right mix. I think we're in the hunt right now.
This is great. It's like get an email from Miz about Carmelo being the worst human being on earth, and then I get that and I get so upset that I G-chat him immediately and said like, it's not that bad, Tim.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the here and now. What has pissed you off most regarding the New York Knicks this week? What's made you the most mad?
This week?
Yes.
Probably, I don't know.
Well, this week it probably has nothing to do with it. It probably has to do more
Copeland
with,
maybe not making the team. The Rasheed Wallace stuff is nonsense. Why are we going after this guy? He stinks. He was out of shape 2 years ago. He's been out of the league
didn't
for 2
play
years.
for 2 years.
Right. Retired, and now it's like, oh, now he's going to be in shape. I mean, apparently he was having trouble doing like balance drills. I'm just and Grunwald, the GM, has demonstrated a pretty good eye for under the radar talent. He's the guy who signed Lin. He's the guy who signed Novak. Copeland now looks like he can play, and we're blocking him from finding guys who can actually fill out the bench and be effective by signing these washed up losers. I don't understand. And Rasheed Wallace also is going to be there if none of those guys work out. If Copeland isn't good and you need someone in January, Rasheed is still going to be sitting at home eating Doritos, doing what I think Rasheed Wallace does on a daily basis, and playing video games, and be like, yeah, I'm ready to go. I got to get in shape. It'll take me like 4 months to jog from baseline to baseline at half speed. But so I don't understand why that to me this week has been like, Copeland is 34 points the other day against the Celtics. He also carried us down the stretch. He's like a mobile forward. He can play either forward position. He looks like he's a decent find from Europe, and he may not make the team because Rasheed is hanging around. Guy hasn't even played yet. Can't jump rope for a minute straight. What are we doing talking to this guy?
That was pretty epic.
That was good.
I mean,
that was exactly what I wanted.
I'm not worried that Copeland's not going to make this team. And I guess state of the Knicks, we're talking about Chris Copeland for
right for
5
15th
minutes.
man.
But he's going to make the team. You can't score 34 against Celtics, when all the stars are out, and not make this team, right?
Right.
He's going to make this team.
I like Amari being out because we now have 2 different seasons. Obviously, it's been there's been a lot of abbreviated, Amari was been out with injuries and there were coaching changes and no preseason and the lockout and stuff. But the numbers tell one story, and that's when Carmelo and Amari are on the court, they get outscored by the other team pretty badly.
Pretty basic. Fact there.
I mean, that's like, and the point of the game is to score more points than the other team. And so by playing these two guys, you are putting yourself in a position where you are likely, very likely to get outscored by a lot, by double digits.
That's just simple math.
So don't play them together. So, if you break down by position Carmelo from being a small forward to being a power forward, he's kind of a middling small forward who scores a lot. And power forward, he does make a difference. He guards power forwards a lot better than he does small forwards because cardio, he doesn't have to be chasing these guys around. And I think he honestly enjoys like the physicality of playing in the post versus he would prefer to be
he loves doing
physical in the post versus chasing a small forward around the perimeter and getting
He
tired.
loves taking power forwards off the dribble on offense.
Right, and
he
he's
gets-
offensively a lot better because he can play inside and out.
All the stat geeks, they love Carmelo at the 4.
Yeah.
He'd be a world-class power forward.
So let him
Unfortunately, we have another power forward.
right, who we can amnesty because we amnestied Billups' 1 year remaining instead of Amare's 4 years remaining. But
Love being a Knicks fan. Love
yeah,
it.
It's same stuff every year, man. Same stuff. New Knicks fan. Hashtag same old Knicks, as I like to say.
Let's move on from the Knicks. I'm sure that something will happen where we'll inevitably come back to them. But let's talk about the number 3 seed that we decided on the Mambino. The Indiana Pacers coming back for 2012-2013 at the number 3 seed. I don't care about this team. They're so boring.
They are.
They win games, and I don't know if it's because they're from Indiana or because they don't really have an exciting star or because nobody has any charisma on the team. I don't really know what specific reason it is, but for all those reasons, I really don't give a crap about them.
Yeah.
But I know they're going to be good, and I know that nobody on this podcast or listening to this podcast right now cares about the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah, we need to proportion our time spent on teams like the Pacers.
Yeah.
Because,
I mean,
no
look,
one's
they're going to
gonna
be
care.
good. I mean, we can cover this pretty quickly. I mean, they're going to be good. George Hill, Paul George, Danny Granger, David West, Roy Hibbert, DJ
Jan.
Augustin, Jan Mahinmi, Gerald
Jan
Green,
Mahinmi.
Tyler Hansbrough. I mean, this team's going to be good. They're kind of
That's a playoff team.
That's a
that's a
playoff
good
team.
playoff team.
it's a good playoff team.
Yeah.
And Paul George might be better. I mean, last year he looked
Paul George,
terrified.
I would say that's the off-season question is he going to be their star?
Right.
Because
And
Granger
he-
has hit his ceiling as like a 18
Exactly.
point per game small forward.
exactly. Paul George
like
needs to
2
be
years ago.
Paul George needs to be amazing. I mean, he looked.
I thought he got better. He competed with those guys at least.
He did compete, but he looked like he was going to pee his pants at times.
He was just overmatched.
He was just overmatched.
wasn't-
I mean, everybody's
and
overmatched.
Wade.
Everybody's overmatched against LeBron, but I mean, he looked.
I mean, they
petrified.
were up 2-1 on the Heat, and
right.
D Wade had that blow up with Spoelstra, and
Bosh
all
went
of a
out.
sudden, people were thinking, this is what the Heat ran into, this buzzsaw, this team that really doesn't give a crap, in terms of bodying up a team like the Heat, and all of a sudden they just fell apart, and LeBron decided to be the best player in the world.
I mean, they're physical. They're super physical. They don't have any egos about them. Anybody will take a
Right.
shot at any given time. There's no real go-to scorer, so everybody's willing to take a shot whenever they need. I mean, they're a really throwback basketball
Well-coached.
team, well-coached
Right.
basketball team. They just have
They'll
the
win in the
misfortune of
regular
being
season.
so boring.
And they just don't have a championship ceiling. Like we were talking about the Knicks. Like if everything works out for the Knicks in a crazy hypothetical world where God actually
Exists.
exists
and said things will fall the right way for the Knicks.
Max, how many
this
minutes
year.
did it take for us to get back on the Knicks? About 3 minutes? 2 minutes?
So wait, we were saying the Knicks have, if things go right, the Knicks
God damn you
Knicks
guys.
have championship potential. The Pacers, if everything goes right, I don't think they have championship potential. Maybe they get to the Eastern Conference Finals, but this team isn't going to win it all this year,
Which is what I'm talking about.
right?
It's good to be a Knicks fan.
Right.
It's really terrible. But
He is pathetic.
I mean, they're gonna win a lot of games this year. I feel like they're gonna win a lot of games.
They're going to win a lot of games. If they won 55 games, would you be surprised?
No, I think they're a great regular season team.
I think we covered
Yeah.
it with the Pacers. I'm
Yeah.
about
All
done
right,
talking about
let's
the
move
Pacers.
on to
So on the number 2 seed, we have the hated Boston Celtics.
God, I hate them.
God, they're so awful in every way. Just thinking about that 2008 title makes me want to throw up a a little bit. Ugh, God. I wanna throw up
C's?
now.
The C's just signed Barbosa.
He's just signed Barbosa.
Another kind of
I mean,
small
they're
two-guard.
damn it, they're really good.
So their backcourt is now Rondo, Jason Terry, Courtney Lee, Barbosa.
Yep.
Is that the whole
Avery Bradley,
and
whenever
Avery
he comes
Bradley,
back from
right.
his double shoulder surgery.
Right. And they have Pierce and Garnett on their very
Pierce,
old
Garnett,
legs.
Brandon Bass, Jeff
Bass.
Green. Don't forget about Jeff Green.
Jeff Green, right. And
Jared Sullinger.
Sullinger.
And Darko Milicic.
Darko, and they got Fab Melo.
And they do have Fab Melo.
Right.
That is true that they do have him. I mean, this is a deep team.
Deep team,
They
championship.
they
pedigree.
are fearless. Jason Terry is just another guy who wants
almost
to take the
KO'd
shot.
Miami last year.
Almost KO'd Miami.
LeBron had that step back 3 in Game 7 with about a minute left.
I wouldn't
which
say they
ended it,
almost
but
KO'd Miami. I don't think. I never felt that Miami was ever.
They were in it in
danger
the fourth
game.
quarter, though. You know,
But
ball bounces their way in a few of those plays.
LeBron was just playing too good.
LeBron took over, and it was in Miami, right?
How about this this softball? Toss it up there. Who's worse? Who do you hate more? Boston teams or Boston fans?
Boston fans.
Yeah, Boston
By
fans.
far, right?
Yeah.
By far.
I probably wouldn't. I mean, I despise Tom Brady, and if I saw Paul Pierce, I'd stab him again because it was me the first time.
Yeah.
But it's too soon. No.
if you're
Oh,
out
you'd
there,
South, yeah,
Yeah.
jeez.
But I don't want, and I hate most of the Red Sox, and I don't want anybody in that town to ever be happy about sports ever again.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I want happiness for their lives because I don't wish unhappiness on anybody, but I want them to cry about sports. I want them, no team to ever win again, and I want them to go another 87
Other
years
than
before
Boston
anybody
College,
gets playoffs.
I thought that.
Well, obviously Boston College.
I thought
Garland.
that after my famous Home Depot trip in 2006, getting ready for senior year at BC.
What happened?
So we go to Home Depot getting stuff ready for the suite. Ignacio, B63, what up?
Nice.
And we go up and we're ready to have the cashier ring us up, and the guy's just not moving. And so we're like, can we pay for this stuff? And he looks at me, donned in my Derek Jeter T-shirt. Rest in peace. Oh, I mean, 4 or 5 months. Let's
be back,
let's
dude.
not
Captain will be back.
let's not assume anything. And he said, I don't know if I can ring you guys up because your friend here is a Yankee fan. And I was like, is this happening? Like, this is real life where, like, we can't give you guys business. And as soon as that happened, I was like, the Red Sox need to lose every game for the rest of eternity.
I despise Boston fans, aside from the ones that I know and I'm friends with.
and even those ones.
even
you
those
despise.
Even
guys,
those,
they're
even Mr.
they're
Marquez,
day to day.
who writes for our blog, I happily tell him how I wish the TD Bank North Garden, whatever the hell that's called, I hope it collapses into the sound. I hate that building.
Even if you're around there, Marky.
Even Marky, even if you're there, I hope that building falls into the freaking ocean. I hate those banners. I hate the parquet floor. I hate everything about them. I hate them so much. But
as a basketball team, get back to it. They're good. I mean, they're
they're
good.
real good.
The
And,
problem is they're old, man.
They're
if
old.
KG goes down or Pierce, they're gonna be. Pierce, I guess, would hurt them less because they have the scoring now with Terry and Courtney Lee and
Jeff Green.
and Barbosa. And
I mean, they
Green.
got a lot of injury risks on this team. I mean,
Yeah.
Jared Sullinger is an injury risk, even though he's 23 years old. Avery Bradley, I mean,
Still not healthy.
Guy had 2 shoulder surgeries. I mean, God knows what he's going to come back.
What team doesn't have injury risks? You know,
But
I
none.
don't
But none.
like that
But
anymore.
none. This team has so many
Yeah.
key players.
And it was a few years ago that KG was hobbling around, and people were saying his career was over.
It's true.
Last year he hit sort of the fountain of youth and was moving around really well and he averaged 20 and 10 in the playoffs.
See, I found a fountain of youth without going to Germany.
Yeah, right.
No, everybody goes to Germany for this fountain of youth. These
But
days.
I mean, KG. If KG gets hurt, I think this team's a lot different.
I think
He
this
brings
team-
their
yeah,
defensive
I
intensity
agree.
and is sort of their leader, emotional leader.
I mean, they're just.
It's-
I could see them go to the finals. I
It's
could see them beating
hard.
Miami.
I mean,
Yeah.
Rondo is so good that any Rondo-led team is going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And
Rondo's
you
gotta
throw
do
in
that.
those Hall of Famers. I mean, Hall of Famers, guys.
Yeah.
Like Pierce and Garnett, as much as we hate them, are legitimate Hall of
first
Famers.
ballot.
Paul Pierce, I don't know how Paul Pierce doesn't get nominations for the All Ugly team. He looks like a skeleton.
Yeah.
He looks like
But
Jack Skellington.
It's tough because
Except he's black.
every time you see his face, he's grimacing. So
I mean, he's just everything about him. His
Yeah,
facial hair and it just like it looks like his features are melting off. Like he looks like a wet popsicle.
okay, all right.
Just
From wet popsicles to the best team in all the land, and maybe one of the best players to ever play the game.
The Heatles.
number one. I don't see how you can argue with this. I mean, I've said this before. I'll say it again. I think it's so funny that this team is still very flawed in a lot of different ways, and yet everybody's saying that they're going to win another title essentially based on the fact that they have one guy. I mean, if you put them against any team with any sort of inside presence, they're just done. I mean, they'll you put them against the Lakers in the finals, and I know that LeBron can front Pau Gasol, but then you have Dwight Howard there, it's just going to punish them inside.
What about Philly? What if they run
Exactly.
into Philly in the Eastern
You
Conference?
run into Philly, and then you have, I guess, you can have LeBron play Bynum, but I mean, Bynum's just too big. The point is that they have a lot of holes on this team still,
Yeah.
and people are just penciling them in as the 2013 titleists.
Yeah.
Because of this one guy. That's how good he is now.
Yeah.
That's how good he is, and well, as a Knicks fan, I guess we've established that I love ceilings, and we go back to
Is
Game
that when
6.
you just stare at the ceiling in disbelief that the Knicks blew another 20-point lead?
Oh, we're talking about the Knicks again. But Game 6 in Boston with LeBron, the LeBron game where he just basically destroyed the hearts and souls of everybody in.
I've never cheered for
that
LeBron
Boston.
so hard as I did
That's
that day.
that's the game where as a basketball one percenter, you
Are we the
have
basketball one percenters?
you have forgiven LeBron for everything.
Yes.
You have forgiven him for everything, unless you're from Cleveland.
Yeah.
Which, that's I don't
That
know.
sucks for you already.
And that's even more scary, or the scariest part of this year is that it's the LeBron, it's LeBron without having to worry about the pressure and thinking about
That, I mean,
what people
yeah.
will say if he loses. Now he's already won, and it's going to be I think a tour de force.
I mean, do you think though that
8 rebound, 8 assists.
is
year.
he the type of guy like Jordan or Kobe where he's just this murderous competitor who just wants to win, or do you think he's just like really good at basketball and it's his job and he really likes playing basketball, or does he need basketball?
I think that's the big storyline that why they won. It's like a mix of both. He's not quite a Kobe, I will
Right.
gut you if you don't get this rebound.
But he's
for
so
me.
good.
But he's also not just playing just because he likes basketball anymore.
Yeah.
He's
Right.
And
he's
physically,
playing-
he's big. I mean, he's bigger, stronger, and faster than Jordan is or was, than Kobe was at his peak. He's just at another level. I mean, when he's going, it's nobody can guard him. He's
Unguardable.
6'8", 6'9", 270
He's
pounds.
unguardable
He's so fast.
even when he has
such
an
a good
off night.
passer. He's playing in the post now. The guy just does it all.
He doesn't hide anymore. Like those early years in Cleveland and even that first year in Miami, he has a bad game. He'll hide in the corner or he'll shoot a couple jump shots. Now he's gonna find D Wade. He's gonna find Bosh to help him
Yeah.
on the nights when his shot isn't falling. And basically that's really all you can ask for. This guy is the complete player.
Yeah,
He's the-
going to the post has really changed the trajectory of his career because he's just so lethal down there.
So I think on the email chain we have I think CDP said that he's started practicing the sky hook.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, I saw that.
is that what is more of a nightmare for an opposing title contender than LeBron practicing an unguardable shot?
Let's
Yeah.
put it this way: who can beat this team?
I think the right matchup. First of all, they got to stay healthy. If Wade goes down, then all of a sudden LeBron has lost his wingman.
I
And
think Bosh is more important than Wade.
Bosh
agree.
is important just because of the bigs. But without Wade though, who are their perimeter defenders?
Battier.
Chalmers,
Battier, Chalmers.
Rashard Lewis.
Right, Richard and Ray Allen hobbling around.
I mean, I think we're missing the point that it's not. I mean, obviously Wade going down, but they have Mike Miller, Ray Allen, and Shane Battier, who are all in their mid-30s at this point.
Right, they're just old. I think Indiana, like last year, would be a tough matchup for them. I think Boston will be a tough matchup for them.
But who can beat them?
The Knicks will be a tough matchup for them.
Who? Give it up. As producer Max snickers in the background.
I think
at your fraudulent idealism.
Lakers, Thunder, maybe.
That's really.
I think Boston could beat them. I mean, Boston almost beat them last year, and Boston got better. I think.
Yeah, I mean, they can be beat. I mean, it's not. They're a shoo-in because they're clearly the best team, not because the margin from 1 to 2 is so big, but it's because they're definitely clearly the best team. And you can't say that Lakers, OKC, those teams aren't better than Miami, because Miami, when LeBron is on, is unbeatable.
Yeah, they've got the best player in the world.
I mean, are they unbeatable? Like, does that one guy, does he make them unbeatable, or does he just make it that they were unbeatable last year?
I mean, we can't. I guess we can't really say they're unbeatable without having watched them this year. But I mean, it's easier for LeBron to make them unbeatable than it is for him to make them beatable.
That's true.
They're hard to beat.
Is there any reason within the
good takeaway?
Yeah, we got it. Thanks. Is there any reason within this team that they wouldn't be able to win? Besides LeBron, obviously not.
I think the size issue is the only thing that, I mean, they don't have.
Yeah, Chris Bosh is going to be playing center full time.
Yeah.
Are you worried at all about their wing players? Ray Allen, Mike Miller, Shane Battier, Rashard Lewis.
I'm worried about their inability to contribute on the defensive end, but.
Are you worried about the fact that Rashard Lewis may be completely washed up? Ray Allen might not be able to walk.
Yeah.
Mike Miller has had surgery on every single part of his body.
He looked like he was breaking down last year. What did he finish the finals? He was like 8 for 8 from 3?
It was like 8 for 9.
What a jerk.
Yeah. God damn it, dude. Everything went right for the Heat last year.
I mean, there are senior citizens walking across 99-cent pizza right now that walked better than Mike Miller last year.
Yeah. I will say, I mean, everything went the right way for the Heat in the finals. And they won in 7 games in a very close game against Boston in the conference finals. So I don't think they're a complete juggernaut. I think they're going to win a lot of games, and LeBron will reassert himself as, he'll be the best player in the league without a doubt. But I think in a playoff series, if you have the right matchup, you can take advantages of their weaknesses, win a few games, and put yourself in a position where you could possibly win. But I don't know. I don't think it's hard to be in a tie, in a close game, in a close series to have a player who's going to play LeBron at basket for basket. Russell Westbrook did last year. That was a great game.
How refreshing is it to have this conversation about LeBron?
It's nice. It's nice about not having to talk about him choking or being a loser.
Do you like liking LeBron more than you like hating LeBron?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. It's nice to watch him being. I mean, he's there's nobody like him talent wise. Watching him play, doing everything is pretty fun.
I mean, watching him fail is a nice joke, but it just doesn't last. I mean,
You just find it more fulfilling to like him than you do hate him.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, we're basketball fans, and he plays basketball better than anyone.
Right.
Well put.
Well put, TK.
So Miami's gonna be good.
Miami's gonna be good.
They're pretty good.
They're gonna be good.
They have a good chance of making the playoffs.
All right. Yeah, I think so. So we're gonna wrap this one up. Episode 2 in the books.
Hold on, Tony Allen tweet of the week.
Oh, Tony Allen tweet of the week. Excuse me.
This week, Tony tweeted.
Tony Allen, the.
Well, why don't we put his handle out there so people?
Yeah, it's AA for Anthony Allen, and then 000G9.
What does that mean?
That makes sense.
It was explained one time. I forget what it means.
Tony Allen, a fringe contributor on the Memphis Grizzlies. Maybe not fringe contributor.
He's a starter.
He's a starter.
Great defensive player.
Great defensive player. Formerly the Boston Celtics, now of the Memphis Grizz, who has one of the most imaginative.
Great Twitter.
Great Twitter handle. Great Twitter feed.
There's also a Twitter called Tony Allen Translated, which translates his tweets into regular talk.
So let's hear it. What are the gems of the week?
On October 20th at 4:30, he wrote, "I wish my barber had a Twitter so I can tell him I'm looking for him in future voice." So
future voice.
That's Tony this week. All this week, every time I ordered room service, they forgot something. Shaking my head. I hear you. I feel your pain, Tony.
So that's part 2 of the East preview, and it's Christmas in October, guys.
Yeah.
This NBA is starting next week. And if you don't like basketball, well, go do something to yourself that you can't say.
Go do something else.
That's it from Avenue A Studios.
Thanks,
PODBINO
guys.
out.
Adios.